Hello, beautiful people. You are listening to Pittsburgh Phamous with Phat Man Dee. We shot this at the River's Edge Studios in Millvale, Pennsylvania at the Mr. Smalls Complex. This is a show dedicating to celebrating, loving, promoting, and supporting the incredible artists that live and work in and around Pittsburgh, PA. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between and on beyond, welcome back. You are tuning into Pittsburgh Phamous. Shot here at the Mr. Smalls Complex. We are in the River's Edge Studios. And this evening we have for our incredible guest, the lovely, the talented, the incomparable, the everlastingly effervescent artist that is the triple platinum award-winning songwriter and vocalist, performer, and one of my favorite collaboratrixes. Give it up for Miss Liz Berlin. We'll have Nick mixing some applause.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. So thank you for tuning in. Liz, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Thank you for letting me have you in your studio.
Well, I'm glad you're using it. Congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
You. I'm so excited to be back here. I did my video internship here at Creative.Life.Support.
You did.
Mr. Smalls. And now I'm back, and you are my guest.
Yeah.
So let's get down to it. So I would like to know where we think of you as absolutely more. You're actually famous. You're not just Pittsburgh famous. You're actually like IRL famous. But you're not actually born in Pittsburgh. Where are you from?
I was born in Virginia, Newport News, Virginia.
Okay.
I lived there till I was 9 when I moved here with my mom, dad, and sister. And so my whole childhood pretty much that I remember is here. So I consider myself bred, if not born, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think, I'll agree with that. Definitely bred, if not born. So, what brought your family to Pittsburgh?
Well, my dad got a job as a professor at Carlow University.
Okay.
And so that's what brought us here.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And so how did you get your start in music? What was the first thing, what made you start playing guitar and singing? And
well, I mean, there's a lot of levels to that. As far as my start in music, that really came from my parents. They started teaching us how to sing, my twin sister and I, from a very early age. My mother, Mary Berlin, who's here. Hi, Mom.
She's hiding behind the camera.
She's hiding. She taught us to sing a beautiful duet called The Evening Prayer from the opera Hansel and Gretel, and which we still sing together today. But she taught us this when we were 5 years old. So we were just these cute little Munchkin girls singing this incredible operatic duet from a very early age. And we pretty much have sung it at every family event or every important gathering.
And this was with your sister, your
twin. This was with my twin sister, yeah. So, I mean, that was the beginnings. And then my father was a cantor. And early on, before he officially became a cantor, he would sing the cantorial role at the synagogue in Virginia where we lived. And so he would sing all of the high holiday services with, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. And he would have, my mom was his choir, and they taught Katie and I to be the choir also. So we were sort of singing this Jewish music with him since we were really little. Mm-hmm. And so I think that style of music really informed my sensibilities a lot. Just, the music that you grow up with just kind of seeps into what feels natural to you and what creative directions you take. Mm-hmm. And so I think I definitely took a lot from the music of Jewish culture and yeah. So that's kind of the deep history. As far as beyond that, when we moved to Pittsburgh, when I was about 15, I started to play the guitar. I got my first lessons at a summer camp, and then from there was kind of started teaching myself on this classical, just really broken down classical guitar that my father had brought home with him from his post-college trek across Europe, I found this guitar in the closet and just kind of obsessed over it and, taught myself finger picking and mostly self-taught, although I did, when I attended the University of Pittsburgh, I did take some jazz guitar lessons from Joe Negri.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I would love to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Phamous.
He's a good one. He's a great guy. Yeah. So definitely some jazz chords stuck with me. You can hear them in some of my solo music.
Nice.
Yeah. Mostly self-taught on everything. When I started Rusted Root, that's when I started playing a lot of percussion instruments, learned how to play the djembe and all of the penny whistle and all the different stuff that I do.
So how did you get, what happened to, there was some political stuff that happened around Rusted Root forming, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. So you can tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, I mean, Rusted Root formed, really solidified as a band, right around 89, 90, and that was right when, same time period when there was the Iran-Contra issue with was going on in Nicaragua, and then soon after also was the first Iraq War, mm-hmm. And we were all very politically conscious and activists, and so we played a lot of benefits and rallies.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw you was mm-hmm. when you were singing. Vincent Irene was fasting outside of Ween Hall.
He was
protesting the development of drones.
Right.
And I went down to the protest, and you all were playing. I was like, who's that girl? I'm going to be like, that girl. That girl's so cool.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
So, then you went on the road for 25 years and
then I went on the road
recorded a bunch of records.
29 years.
Several thousands tens of thousands of fans and sold a bunch of records. And back when we sold records. Back when
people...
Paid for music?
Paid for music and cared about a record as a personal belonging.
It's gonna be all right. But then you've since you've stopped being on the road so much, let's see. Can you want to tell me a little bit about what you're doing now that you're home? I'm thinking. Well, I gotta tell people about Mr. Smalls. How did Mr. Smalls? For those of you that are tuning in. And you're not actually from Pittsburgh, Mr. Smalls is a major institution here in Pittsburgh. Internationally touring acts are here, a couple times a week, all year long. It has a major venue with 850 capacity?
850 capacity.
And then the smaller venue, the Fun House, has 175 capacity. And also Mr. Smalls started off as a recording studio. And so there's also a separate recording studio facility. And what you're watching right now is just a teeny tiny little nugget of media space carved out into this giant complex. And you've got all kinds of awesome, in addition to producing the live shows, you have all these awesome youth projects. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a little bit about the youth projects you've got going on?
Yeah, so my husband and I started Mr. Smalls originally as a way to create something other than Rusted Root. Rusted Root was an amazing experience, but it was very dependent on the possibility of staying together, and we didn't want all of our eggs to be in that basket. We wanted to create something that was ours that would support us regardless of what happened with Rusted Root. Now, Rusted Root did stay together for a very long time. But in the meantime, we kept working on Mr. Smalls and developed it into what it is today. And through that process, there were a lot of things that we did because we really wanted to, helping people with recording studio time, helping to produce bands that we really liked, putting together band camps for kids, and all of these things that we did that were, not really good business decisions, just things that were fun and that, we just did because we wanted to contribute to the community and to the opportunity that was available. We just started calling all of that Creative.Life.Support. And so that became the name of our nonprofit, Creative.Life.Support. So now Creative.Life.Support's pretty much solidified into sort of two different directions, one being the educational direction. And for that we have Real Life Music Camp, which I mentioned a second ago, is like a 1-week summer camp for kids to come and learn how to be in a band. Sometimes we get bands that are already formed come, and sometimes bands form at the camp that actually stay together. And in both of those cases, what they experience through that week with us, recording a demo of their original music. We do a professional photo shoot with a really great photographer by the name of Erica Dilser. And then we also, have a lot of discussions with them about their persona and their image and help them sort of develop their band name and do interviews with them. And so what they end up coming out of the week with is basically a full press kit of exactly what they need to just get started as a band. They end up with a press photo, a bio, and a demo of their music. So in the case of bands that were already formed or that stuck together, they have what they needed. And, some kids also come solo and they haven't really collaborated before. And sometimes they'll do it just for fun, and the bio will be like crazy and about, being from outer space. But then also I've had a lot of, young, very talented young ladies come through that end up with like a song that's like their solo song. And so in that case, we present them as a solo artist and give them what they need. So that's the Real Life Music Camp. The dates of the next one are July 6th through 10th.
Hear that, 6th through 10th.
July 6th through 10th. And maybe by the time this podcast airs, I'll actually have the registration link. So
hey,
let's
we'll
see.
Put it in the show notes.
That's on my list of things to do. The other main educational program we have is called the We Rock Workshop. And that is a program that we've been running now for, I think, almost 10 years now. It's a collaboration with the Department of Human Services, where we take current and former foster kids into Mr. Small's recording studio for 8 weeks. And we focus there on collaboration and original music as well. Again, it's, they come out of that experience with a full-length CD, anywhere from 5 to 10 songs, whatever happens during that time period.
Of their own work.
Of their own work, and all collaborative, yeah. A lot of times people come in like, oh, I just really love this song, I want to rap over this track. And, we tell them, it's great to be inspired by something. Let's listen to the track. Let's be inspired. We'll create something that kind of feels like this, but that is your original work. And then, it's a little hard adjustment sometimes for the kids, but then once they go through that process and they end up with this original piece of art that is really all theirs. They don't have to credit anyone other than themselves, and then they realize the value of being your own creator. So that's happening right now. After the 8 recording classes, then we do 8 weeks of rehearsals, and then they do a final show at Mr. Small's Theater. The band camp also does a final show at Mr. Small's Theater. So, yeah, it's really fun. The educational side's really fulfilling.
And you're teaching in CMU, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Well, that's not a Creative.Life.Support thing, but my teaching has expanded into. I was asked a few years ago to teach for Carnegie Mellon University's Hines College for their Masters of Entertainment Industry Management program. Their program has traditionally been focused very much on screen, like film and anything on the screen. But a few years back, they decided they wanted to expand into the music industry, and they contacted me to teach a course on live music, touring, and revenue streams, which is pretty much what my life's works has been. So I'm sort of teaching about my last experience of the last 30 years. On the road at Carnegie Mellon to master's level students.
So awesome.
So, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, what projects you're on, because you're still, you're not just teaching. It's not like you stopped touring and now you're teaching.
Oh, yeah, I love a lot of
you've
music
got like
going
multiple bands. You're
Lots
like
of music.
in many, many, many bands.
Yeah. Well, that actually kind of also connects to the other side of Creative.Life.Support. Is a nonprofit record label, which I think you may have been the first person to utter the words to me Liz, you should start a nonprofit record label.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
I think it's all your fault.
Forgive me. It's sorry. I'm sorry.
So again, all of these bands that we want to support, and all of our own projects that we work on, we've developed this nonprofit record label to, to support those projects. We've recently, in the last year or so, solidified a relationship with a digital distribution company to allow us to distribute our music worldwide across all platforms. So that's great. Yeah. So my other projects that I am involved with.
Creatively, where you get to sing.
Creatively.
Do your own songs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess first and foremost, it's my solo project. Right now it's just called Liz Berlin because that's my name. I'd ideally like to have a band name that's like Liz Berlin and something. So if anyone has any ideas, leave it in the comments because I need help with that. I've been singing and writing songs this whole time during Rusted Root, and while I'm not the main songwriter of Rusted Root, two of my songs did make it onto Rusted Root albums. I have this whole catalog of music that I've done independently. I've released 2 solo albums. One is a live album, and the other is a full-length studio album called Autobiographical. And those were both a really long time ago. So I think I have a new solo album in the future. I really need to start working on. That's on my list of all the things I should really be doing. So there's that. There's also, I have an amazing band called Drowning Clowns. And yes. Drowning Clowns
No clowns were ever hurt in the production of this music.
Very true.
However, we'd like you to know.
Disclaimer, no clowns are injured. Drowning Clowns is, really like a really new musical direction for me. It's a collaboration with my husband, Mike Speranzo. My nephew, Evan Smith, is in the band as well. And also Jesse Prentice, who's an amazing bass player and songwriter. Mark Strickland, who plays in my solo band, and Troy Kramer, who's like an incredible drummer. Troy and Jesse have been playing bass and drums together in bands since forever, way back to like Ritual Space Travel Agency. So they're like this.
Oh yeah, that was a great
crazy
project.
Locked team. The two of them. Drowning Clowns is like it's kind of psychedelic Americana type thing. It's hard to describe, but we're working on a new album. We actually just finished mixing the first single from that new album called Endless Fade Out, which is a collaboration between me and Evan. So.
When I think of Drowning Clowns, I think of like ambient psych pop.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's just ambient it's very like lots of beautiful washes of tones and like, it's very like. It's like, I think it's great. You should check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out, Drowning Clowns.
DrowningClowns.com.
If you're from Pittsburgh, it's Drowning Clowns.
Drowning Clowns.
C-L-A.
But it's not spelled like that.
No, it's not. It's clown. C-L-O-W-N.
On the website, yeah.
Yes.
So that's exciting thing to look forward to, that new single coming out.
Yay.
Yeah. What else? I'm going to get to the obvious one last. But I've done some other really fun things. Aside from those, I collaborated with a group called Table Syndicate on my first ever EDM track.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Which is really fun. I'm like a dance diva now. Yeah.
Tell your favorite DJs at your local clubs, put on that.
Mm-hmm.
Table Syndicate.
Table Syndicate, Bombs Fly is my favorite track from there. I did several tracks, but Bombs Fly is like a crazy good song. We'll put the link somewhere for that as well.
Yeah, I'll need to get all the links. Yeah. Show notes.
I also have a song that I recorded with another EDM artist called Sinova that I'm not sure if that's out yet or not, so we'll find out about that. But probably the most large collaboration, full-scale collaboration that I've done since any of those is Social Justice Disco.
Social Justice Disco?
Where did you get that fabulous shirt? So picture this. You know the story, so I'm going to tell this story to you guys, the viewers of this podcast. All right, so picture this. So I'm on the road with Rusted Root, and we travel in this tour bus, and I have a bunk in the tour bus, and it's like this little like coffin-sized bed. Okay, I pull my curtains shut, and I got all my blankets and pillows, and I wake up every morning in my bunk, and I need my alone time. If you get right out of your bunk, then there's people in your face right away. So I always would like stay in my bunk and just like go on social media to wake up and kind of feel like I had some me time. And so I go on social media, and the very first thing that pops up on my Facebook feed is Phat Man Dee tagged you in a post. And I go to the post, and it says, I'm so excited to announce that my friend Liz Berlin and I are going to be releasing a social justice disco album.
With the symphony.
With the Pittsburgh
Symphony. The symphony, yeah.
And I was like, what the F is she talking about?
Mandy's crazy
She's
again.
crazy.
Oh.
But then I realized what day it was. It was April 1st.
April Fool's.
It was April Fool's. So
Just kidding.
The rest of the day, she's throwing out all this other crazy stuff. Tagging Wendy Bell and all this crazy stuff.
I told you I was going to wrestle Wendy Bell in a pile of chip chop ham.
Yeah, right.
And as a benefit to local Black Lives Matter organizations.
Yeah. So, I was entertained. I approved the post. It went up on my page and on her page, and I thought it was hilarious. And, the thing that happened, though, was that throughout the day, both her fans and my fans got so excited about this concept that by the end of the day, when they realized it wasn't real, they were starting to get pissed.
They were salty. They were salty and swole.
Yeah. They were like, you gotta, you can't not do this. And so later that day, I called up Mandee, and I was like, look, do you have songs? And she says, yeah, I've got songs. And I was like, all right.
And I had lots of songs because
yeah.
I had been producing jazz albums, and there's not a lot of room for cheerful ditties like Fourth Reich Horizon on
Big Brother is
nice
trending
jazz album there.
Yeah, right.
Jim Crow is alive and well, upbeat. Swing it.
Yeah, right. So that was the same week that I was actually we were just about to open a brand new club here at Mr. Small's, our smaller club called the Fun House. And I was booking the first few weeks of entertainment right then, and I said, all right, our first gig is in a month. She was like, what?
Get the song, rehearse the band. Who's the band? I don't know.
What are we going to play? So our first gig was a month later. And then a couple years later, our first album was out. And now here we are today, Social Justice Disco.
Yeah, tearing it up at political conferences and protests near you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our next show is going to be February 28th.
Yes.
Here at Mr. Small's Theater.
Yes.
Be here or be square. I didn't rhyme, but
be here or stay at home like a good observant Jew and not out wandering around.
That's true.
Making money or not.
We could light some Shabbat candles.
We have yet to actually make any money.
We could light some Shabbat
we
candles.
Could. If
anybody
Shabbos
wants
candles,
to pray.
Yeah.
Shabbos candles with us, we'll do that at the show.
Are we really going to light Shabbos candles?
We could.
I mean, we could.
Why wouldn't we?
I guess I don't know why we wouldn't.
Well, we have to now because we said that we were going to.
We told you we're going to light Shabbos candles Friday night. We're such good Jews.
We are.
We're good Jews. Jews, they teach you to be responsible and care about your neighbors.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we're not observant. We don't go to shul all the time, but I think that what I learned from religion. I was raised Christian and Jewish.
I was too, actually.
Yeah, and
my mom's side.
What I learned is that it's really all about the love and how you live your life, and being inspired and being inspiring. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're good Jews. I think we're great Jews.
We're great Jews. I'm a great Jew. I'm a great Jew.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, and then the 28th of February, and we're working on summer dates. Mm-hmm. So nothing I can say for sure right now, but I'm hoping that some good things come through, and you're also still recruiting students for We Rock right now.
Yeah, I am recruiting students for We Rock Workshop. The eligibility is any current or former foster youth from the ages of 14 through 21.
In Allegheny County. Which is the area around Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So if you know of anyone that's interested, just email info@creative.life.support.com. and we'll reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've touched everything I wanted to talk about, unless I've forgotten something.
I don't know. I think that's mostly everything.
Well, we should play some music then. I
Let's play some music.
I want to hear you sing, and I want to sing one with you. I don't even know what we're doing.
I don't know either, but we'll work it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll work it out.
Yet if people go back in time, they can see us in episode 1 with Derek Tynes and listen to us singing with Derek.
I did make a secret cameo in episode 1.
Yeah, well, at this point, it's not secret.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Not secret now. They've hopefully already heard it.
Okay, you're right.
But if you hadn't, go back and listen.
Yeah, check that out. Pastor Derek Tynes. He's one of our collaborative artists on the Social Justice Disco Project.
Yes, Derek,
well
Pastor Tynes, and the Leamington Gospel Chorale, and Johnny Coe and family with Sun Bear and Arlena.
And Kicking Bear.
Arlena and Johnny actually went out to be water protectors during the Dakota Pipeline standoff. Yeah. And, poets. We got great poets. Leslie Ezra Smith.
Yeah, Christina Springer. Amber Epps, Hollywood.
Yeah. Shout out to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm going to get her on this show.
Oh, awesome. And Big Jess.
Big Jess. Is he going to be with us at We Rock?
I hope so. I'm working on it.
Okay. I told you I got my piano lesson switched, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I got my piano lesson switched, in case you were wondering. Take a piano lesson at Afro-American Music Institute. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
awesome.
I will see you in the music studio. Ooh.
Tonight I'm a little girl, barefoot and muddy and drinking the world, laughing and spinning and singing a song with no words, pure and uncertain and unconcerned. Trying to sell me a ladder to reach all the places they say I should reach. Where are the wings of my childhood? Gravity grounds me. Questions the answers that I can't see. Could work the machine. Sure, I could turn This is Newbury Street.
There's a man with a gun
what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. One field day for the heat. A thousand people in the streets, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our sides. Time to stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time to stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Ooh, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What's going down, 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 down. What's going down, down. What's going Paranoia strikes deep into your lives, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, and the man comes and take you away. It's time to stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Ooh, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down, 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 down. Everybody look what's going down. What's going down, 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 down. What's going down, 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 down. What's going down, what's going down. What's going down. What's going down.
Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, we have been Pittsburgh Phamous with Liz Berlin, the grand dame of Mr. Small's theater recording studio, Creative.Life.Support, and just all around phenomenal badass. So definitely check out her work. Download all of her CDs. Come to a show. If you got kids, send them to Real Life Music Camp or We Rock Workshop. You know, and just be thankful that Liz Berlin decided to stay in Pittsburgh. She could have gone anywhere. But she stayed here, and she built something for us all to enjoy, and I'm in it right now at the River's Edge studio in the Mr. Smalls complex. So thankful to all of our sponsors. You know who you are. I don't, because I don't actually have any, but if you would like to be one, you could be one.
You should sponsor.
You should sponsor me. I will make incredibly awkward and obvious references to your business or product. I am thankful for my Patreon fans.
Yes.
Gary and Marissa and Rachel, you're awesome. So hopefully there'll be some more on some future episodes. But yeah, stay tuned. Love yous. Stay Pittsburgh famous. You have been listening to Pittsburgh Phamous with Phat Man Dee. This presentation was made possible by the River's Edge radio station, Mr. Small's Theater, Creative.Life.Support, and Phat Man Dee Presents. If you like what you hear, please like it, share it, comment, tell us what you think about it. I'm on the Instagrams, the Tweeters, and the Book of Face as Phat Man Dee. That's PhatMandee. If you really like it, and you would like me to talk about your product, I'm open for inquiries regarding sponsorship. And I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/PhatMandee. That's PhatMandee. This is January 2020, and I want you to stay beautiful, stay blessed, and stay famous.